Welcome. This lesson is over two-step equation with distributive property. So in our number routine, it says x equals 4. It is the solution to the following equation, 5x minus 12 equals 8. Prove it in two ways. One way I can prove it is to substitute to check my work. So let me get my free pen. I can substitute or replace the x with 4. Let's simplify this. 5 groups of 4 is 20. 20 minus 12 is 8. Is 8 equals to 8? Check mark. That is one way I proved that x equals 4. Another way I can prove it is this way. 5x minus 12 equals 8. I'm going to solve it algebraically. I need to isolate x. How am I going to isolate x? I need to do the inverse operation of minus 12 with plus 12. Plus 12. This cancels. So let's simplify. This cancel with 0 pairs. Let's simplify it. 5x equals 8 plus 12 is 20. I have 20 positive. I need to divide them among the 5 x's. So let's divide by 5. So each x will have 4 positives. And hence, x does equal 4 by checking my work for this. I can also use algebra tile models. I'm not, but I could use algebra tile models to prove that x is equal to 4. So in this activity, you are going to identify and arrange the steps for solving each two-step equation. So let's look at this first one right here. 2 minus 5x equals negative 18. Or I could start with 5x minus 2 equals negative 18, or x divided by 2 minus 5 equals 10, or x plus 5 divided by negative 2 equals 10. You know what? I'm going to start with equation B, and then from that, I'll have less pieces to work with. So I need to isolate this 5x right here, this one right here. In order to isolate it, I need to do the inverse of minus 2 with plus 2. So I need to add 2. Oh, here it is. Add 2 to both sides. After I add 2 to both sides, this cancels. So it would be 5x equal negative 16. Oh, it's right here. Then I have 16 negatives, which I need to divide it among the 5 x's. So I need to divide both sides by 5. And then once I divide both sides by 5, this cancel. Which one shows x equals negative? Well, this is the only one that has negative 3.2. 3 2/10. And that's the answer for equation B. Let's look at equation A. Well, let's go to equation C. So I need to isolate the x right there, this x right here. So the inverse of minus 5 is plus 5. Add 5 to both sides. So I add 5 to both sides. So it's x over 2 equals 15. Now I have 15 positives. What is the inverse operation of divide 2? Times 2. Times 2. So I need to multiply both sides by 2. So this cancels out. So x equals 30. Whoops, why am I writing that down when it could be right here? So I only have a few more pieces left now. So let's look at this one. 2 minus 5x equals negative 18. I need to isolate x. So I need to get rid of this 2. I subtract 2 from both sides. Subtract 2 from both sides. Subtract 2 from both sides. This cancels out. So negative 18 with minus 2, or negative 2, is negative 20. So negative 5x equals negative 20. That goes right here. I have 20 negatives. I need to divide them among the 5 negatives, x's. So divide both sides by negative 5. Divide this both sides by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. This cancels out. And what's 20 divided by 5? 4. Opposite of a negative is positive, so it's x equals 4. And we are only left with these pieces left. So I need to isolate x. But how can I get rid of this negative 2? Divide negative 2. I need to multiply both sides by negative 2. So if I multiply both sides by negative 2, this cancels out. So x plus 5 equals negative 20. And how can I isolate my x I need to do the inverse of plus 5 is subtract 5 from both sides, and x equals negative 25. All right, so from this, let's look at practice distributive property. You're going to see this lesson more in 8th grade and in algebra, but we are still going to focus on this because we are pre-AP. So it's saying you have two, how would you say this in words? Two groups of x minus 1. So I'm going to use my algebra miles first. So I have a x and a minus 1. But it's two groups of x minus 1 equal 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking at this model, how would you rewrite this equation? It can be 2x minus 2 equals 6. So I did two groups of x minus 1. Is there another way I could have written this? Some people write it this way. X minus 1 is two groups. So x plus x is 2x, minus 1 is minus 2. Another way people do it is the shortcut. I distribute it with the arrow. What is 2 times x? Two groups of x, 2x. Minus, what is two groups of 1? 2. And that's another way I could have done it. So let's look at the next one. Let's use the model. Two groups of x minus 3. X minus 3. X minus 3 equals 10. Equal 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. How can I rewrite this? I can rewrite it as 2x's minus 6 equals 10. Is there another way I could have done this without using algebra tau? X minus 3, or 2x minus 6. Or I could use the distributed property using arrows. What's 2 times x? 2x minus. What's 2 times 3? 6. So this is called distribution. So using the examples above, demonstrate how we could solve the following equation by using the distributive property. So in here, what's another way to say 4 groups of x plus 1? So I could do x plus 1, 4 groups of x plus 1, 4 groups of x plus 1, or 4 groups of x plus 1. Or I could write x plus 1, x plus 1, x plus 1, x plus 1, which is a total of 4x plus 4 equals 8. Or I could use the distributed property. 4 times x is 4x, plus 4 times 1 is 4. Do we know how to solve this type of questions? Yes, we can. So let me use a different pen color. So how can I isolate x? What is the inverse of plus 4? Minus 4. Minus 4. I balance it on the other side. This cancels out. 8 minus 4 is 4. So I simplified it. But this cancel out. This becomes 0 pair. So 4x equals 4. For this one, I have 4 positive. I need to just divide it among the 4 x's. This cancels out. So x equals 1. So what we just did here is we simplified. This is simplifying. All right, we are going to be doing the odds together. I'm going to leave the even for you to do for homework. So how would you solve this? Would you like to use model? Would you like to write 3 groups of x plus 2, or would you like to use the distributed arrow? So for this one, I'm not going to do modeling. I'm going to rewrite 3 groups of x plus 2. That's 3 x's plus 2, 2, 2 is 6 equals negative 12. So I just rewrote it. Now let's solve this. I'm going to use a different pen color if you don't mind. How can I isolate x? What's the inverse operation of plus 6? Minus 6, minus 6. This cancels out. 3x equals, and what is negative 12 minus 6? Negative 18. I have 18 negatives, and I needed to divide them among the three x's. This cancels. X equals -6. Please do number 4 on your own. Number 5. Oh, here's number 4 if you like to see it. Let's do number 5. 3 groups of x minus 4 equal -3. This time I'm going to distribute it with the arrows. What is 3 times x? 3x minus. What is 3 times 4? 12 equals -3. So 3 groups of x minus 4 is 3x minus 12. I need to isolate x. How am I going to isolate x? I'm going to do the inverse operation of -12 with +12. +12 bounce on the other side. This canceled. 3 cancel with 0 pairs. So 3x equals 9. Because 3 negatives. 1, 2, 3. 12 positive. The 0 pairs out. So you have 9. I have 9 positive. I need to divide among the 3 x's. So x equals 3. Number 6, please do this one on your own. Let's look at number 7. 2/3 n plus 6 equals 10. So I'm going to do the distributive property. 2/3 times n plus, what is 2/3 times 6 equals 10? So we have 2/3 n plus, what do you remember about multiplying fraction? How can I turn this 6 into a fraction? Put a 1 underneath it. So what is 2 times 6? 12 over 3, or 12/3. 2/3 n plus 4 equals 10. Now let's solve this. I need to isolate n. So what is the inverse operation of +4? -4. I -4 on both sides to balance it. The 0 pairs out. So this cancels. So 2/3 n equals 6. So this one, 2/3 n. As you can tell, there is a fraction as the coefficient in front of the variable. How can I cancel out this? I want to get rid of this. The way you can get rid of it is you're dividing by 2/3. When you're dividing by a fraction, you're really multiplying by its reciprocal. So we are going to be multiplying by its reciprocal. What is the reciprocal of 2/3? 3/2. Because what is 3 times 2? 6. What's 2 times 3? 6. 6 over 6 is 1 whole. That becomes 1n. So in other words, that cancels out and becomes 1n. I need to balance it on the other side. So n equal, what's 6/1 times 3/2? 18/2 or 9. So to get rid of a fraction that's in front of the variable, you use the reciprocal of it. Here's the true mathematics if you would like to see it. I divide by 2/3. I divide by 2/3. This cancels out because that's 1 whole. N equal. And what is 6 divided by 2/3? How can I rewrite this as a multiplication? I keep the 6. I multiply. What's the reciprocal of 2/3? 3/2. And that's where I get the 18/2 or 9. 8, please do this on your own. And number 9. Let's distribute this. That's 2/10 c minus, let's distribute this. What is 2/10 times 3? That's 6. This is one place, one place. This has one place here. So I move it one place. So it's 2/10 minus 6/10 equal -10. Again, I need to isolate c. What is the inverse operation of minus 6/10? It is plus 6/10 plus 6/10. This cancels. So you have -10 plus 6/10. Do I have more negative or more positive? I have more negative. If I have more negative, how many more negatives do I have? If I subtract this, 10 minus 6/10, regroup, that'd be 9 and 4/10. So it's negative 9 and 4/10. So I need to divide this negative 9 4/10 by 2/10. So divide this by 2/10, divide this by 2/10. This canceled, become one whole. So it's 1c, so c equals. So what is 9 and 4/10 divided by 2/10? Again, we do not like working with decimal. If you remind yourself in dividing decimal, you need to go to previous lesson. You move this one place over, that becomes 2 whole. Move this one over, that becomes negative 94. So negative 94 divided by 2 is negative 47. So that is how we have practiced with two-step equation with distributive